Do you know who got the job done? Do you know who faced adversity and who got slammed throughout the season by local media, national media, got no respect, and delivered? Jalen by God Hurts, Super Bowl champion. You could take your Josh Allens, your Lamar Jacksons, your Joe Burrows, take them, shine them up real nice. Take those QBs, turn that sumbitch sideways, Hurts, stick it straight up, your candy ass. Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl champion this morning. Jalen Hurts got it done.
Oh, Russ. Saquon Barkley, he's going to be the one. He's going to deliver us to the promised land.
He got us there. You rode him on his back. You rode Saquon to over 2,000 yards on the ground. Rode him through the playoffs. But who's the guy who delivers when the chips were down, when it mattered the most, when the big players make big plays? Jalen motherfucking Hurts is the reason that Super Bowl 59 went the Eagles' way. And the defense. Oh yeah, I know. I undercut myself here. And the Hurts rant by mentioning the defense. But oh no. The defense was an absolute behemoth on Sunday. An absolute pride to this city. Someday we will look back on this team and we will think about everything that transpired this season. And Vic Fangio's name is going to have a level of respect on it that I think to this point has really just been reserved for Jim Johnson. And I'll tell you what, that game last night was an absolute coaching masterclass. You want to know what the difference is between a team that is good and a team that is great and a team that is legendary and wins a Super Bowl? I've said the same thing the entire season. Good teams win. Great teams find a way to win when things aren't working. Super Bowl winning teams figure out ways to win and assert their dominance. And don't let that final score, even in the least bit, try to tell you a story. I told you people. All right, now listen, there are times that I'll be wrong, and I owe an apology to Nick Sirianni and even Howie Roseman, and that's coming later on in the show. Because I told you people, from the time I started this show, there will be 100% accountability here. If I screw something up and I'm wrong, I'm not hiding. I'm not hiding behind semantics. I'll tell you I was wrong. And when it comes to Nick Sirianni, your man was wrong. When it came to Howie Roseman and the roster construction, your man was wrong. Now, in fairness, Zach Bond, nobody saw this coming. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This team, for my money, this Eagles team is the greatest team in the history of Philadelphia sports ever. Now, you can argue it. You have to remember that my frame of reference is not as long as some of yours. I can't debate the 1983 Philadelphia 76ers.
I wasn't born yet.
I can't debate you about Eagles teams from the pre-Super Bowl era.
I wasn't born yet.
I can't go back and debate the Broad Street Bullies with you.
I wasn't born yet.
But in my lifetime, in the 34 plus years that I have walked around or crawled around this here beautiful green dot in the solar system within the Milky Way galaxy, this is the best Philadelphia sports team in the history of Philadelphia sports. And I'm not even sure it's close. There was that 2010 Phillies team that we all loved, and we said the four aces and that lineup, and we said that is the best team, and then they didn't get it done. There have been some really good Phillies teams, even in recent memory, didn't get the job done. Sixers, we're not going to go there. Flyers, it's not been great. Flyers got to a Stanley Cup final in 2010, but that was a very fluky, although very nice performance. You qualify by winning a shootout the final day of the regular season. You advance and you let the chips fall where they may, and that could have gone down as an all-time surprising team. But this Eagles team, from the time the bye week ended, they go 2-2 into the bye week. And listen, I got dunked on last night, and that's part of doing this whole thing where you talk into a microphone. That's part of it. Sometimes you're right and sometimes you're wrong. And in fairness to me, I was wrong when it came to Sirianni. I don't think I was wrong in the moment. I do think that there were things that were problematic with this Eagles team 5 weeks into the regular season. And in fairness, it has since come out that, like, probably right, because there were the stories that came out that Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni had to sit down in the bye week and figure out something that was going to work because things were not working here. And that kind of galvanized them. And then you saw the Eagles go on a 10-game winning streak. And, oh, by the way, there was the time, I don't know if you remember or not, Brandon Graham goes on the radio and essentially says that there are maybe some issues between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. And what happens? Brandon Graham gets a lot of heat, but if there's one guy who had the equity built up among the fan base and probably within the locker room, it was him, galvanized the team. This is a storybook season for this team. You're talking about a play here, a play there, a Saquon drop early in the season, a Jalen Hurts concussion later in the season against the Commanders. I'm not saying that this was going to be an undefeated team, but the margin of error was like this. It was so razor thin. And I'm going to just, before we get into the game itself, I just want to point out this Eagles team, and you can't play revisionist history because things probably don't play out the same way. But like, the Chiefs were in the midst of trying to get this unprecedented third straight Super Bowl win. What no one seems to be talking about is the fact that had it not been for the sod father, and had it not been for that dog shit field 2 years ago, we might have been talking about the Eagles winning 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. But we're not going to let that taint anything because Sunday was masterful. And I told you guys this was going to happen. I told you.